Hi, my name is Calder Kamin. Welcome to my exhibition, Plastic Planet, here at Women in Their Work. It's up through November 10th. About 90% of the materials that are used in this exhibition are recycled. The pieces themselves, if you're interested in what the frame is, I bought them all on eBay. They're taxidermy mount frames. That's the only part that I bought. The rest is all recycled materials. Either my friends are donating me plastic bags, or I've been going to the Austin Resource Recovery Center and collecting styrofoam from them. Plastic will be in the environment for thousands of years, even possibly millions of years. Plastic doesn't break, or it doesn't degrade. It photodegrades. So with UV light on it, it breaks down into smaller and smaller particles to the point where we're ingesting it now. Sea life's ingesting it, we're possibly ingesting it. So the idea originally for this series, Plastic Planet, came from these synthetic materials in the environment are taking over things that are organic, and we're all becoming plastic. And I took the thought of making taxidermy animals, not only specifically picking animals that are scavenger, urban wildlife animals, but taxidermy is fake nature. With this work, or with all my work, I want us to take responsibility. So that's what the classroom space is about. I have the neocortex classroom. The neocortex is the most evolved part of the brain, and that's where logical thinking happens. So this space is for hands-on engagement, for learning about plastic in the environment and how we can be better stewards of the planet. In the space, you can learn how to crochet plastic, and you can contribute to a jellyfish. I'll have instructions out for that. There's also a classroom pet. I have mealworms. Stanford University came out with an article this year that mealworms are capable of digesting styrofoam safely. An individual mealworm can eat about a pill size of styrofoam a day and can safely digest it and turn it into biodegradable poop that is soil ready for farming. Styrofoam cannot be recycled. It'll last thousands of years, that one-use product, and that's the most detrimental is our one-use plastic. And plastic has become so ubiquitous. It's only been around since World War II, and now it touches everything. So these are all animals that thrive in the human world. Another word for an animal that thrives in the human world are synanthropes. So synanthrope, symbiosis, syn, anthrope with man. So these are the animals that are going to remain as long as we continue this trajectory of how we treat the environment. But the animals that are featured in this exhibition are all urban-dwelling animals that like to eat our trash. And I should introduce, this is Pixel, my dog, my faithful companion. So I was making animals in clay all throughout my life, and I thought that there was a rift, a split between what the research that goes into the work that I'm doing. I read extensively on these ideas of the Anthropocene, another word. So now we've reached a geological era. We were in the Holocene era. Now we're calling it the Anthropocene. So again, the influence of man across the world. And I was just making these animals that enchanted me out of clay. Thought about my materials and process and how, what is my mission as an artist? I'm a mission-driven artist. I'm a storyteller, I'm an educator, I'm an activist. How can I activate the work to present those kinds of ideas? And I started exploring materials a lot more. The first piece with this material exploration was called Ripple Effects. I would collect birth control packets from my girlfriends, and we would have this conversation about the contraceptive that they use and the impact that it has on the environment. And the texture of the birth control packets are like frogs, they're bumpy. So I started cutting little frogs out of these birth control packets and display them on the wall with 28 to reference the cycle. And then that started making me think about the plastic bags. And again, I had to scavenge for my materials. I had to collect these materials from my friends and have conversations about plastic bags because, of course, the plastic ban in Austin, and which is a good thing. But it's been difficult for me because that's my main material. So now I have to ask my friends from all over the US to ship me plastic bags, in which they do. We have this exchange where I give them a gift for sending me the bags, and they have a sense of relief because now their waste is going to be turned into art. And the plastic bags, the first piece that I did was a simple jellyfish, thinking about that when plastic bags enter the ocean, turtles are ingesting them. They think that they're jellyfish. So I made this plastic jellyfish. And there's a process for that, but while I was learning how to crochet, I also started stripping and twisting the bags. And that's the textures that you see on these the pieces in the gallery, is that I'm stripping and twisting them until they collapse and make this flora and fauna motif. It looks like fur, it looks like grass. And as I'm stripping them and twisting them, I first was creating these animals, and then in some cases I would run out of certain plastic bags. So the plastic bags, they are not treated in any way other than me stripping them and twisting them. They aren't painted, they are all completely found. And in some cases I would run out of bags that I needed. Dillard's bags makes this fabulous live oak bark motif, but then I'd run out. And then what was I gonna do? Well, then the world started to develop because, well, I'm missing on this log space for the Dillard's bags. What am I going to do? I'll start creating lichen. I'll start creating ferns. And the world just kept exploding as I was problem solving on how to use this new material. It's been an entire exploration in this materials and process over the last year. And this is the first time that I'm debuting this work as a body of work. So the skunk piece here took me a year to create. And again, while I'm making this, I've returned home to Austin, and I'm inspired by the local flora here. So while I was developing this piece, we had the wildflowers in the spring, and I specifically referenced Texas wildflowers with this skunk. We have blue bonnets, Indian paintbrushes, and poppies. And I love just the color that's exploding from the grass, and that it reminds me of like impressionistic painting or pointillism with every single dot. For some reason, this is not totally out of left field for me to be doing these kind of surface textures. I've always been obsessed about the details on my pieces. I can get with one strip of plastic about 4 pieces of hair at a time. So you can understand better how meticulous the process is. And they're all applied with a glue gun. So it's incredibly crafty. It's something you can do at home too. Get styrofoam, get a hot glue gun, get some plastic, play with these materials, turn them into something other than trash, turn them into something that's not going to end up in landfills or in the ocean. And with this body of work, with the help of my extended community who helped me collect plastic bags, we've diverted thousands of plastic bags from landfills and oceans. Thousands of hours, thousands of plastic bags. But this body of work hopefully made the world a little bit of a better place. The work that I create, I'm talking about difficult subject matters. I'm talking about pollution. I'm talking about extinction. I'm talking about plastic waste. And what's always been so important to me about reaching out to children and people from the non-art world is that I make the work fun. So first of all, they'll see this colorful, fun work before they start to see what is it made out of and the ominous reality of it. But hopefully that now they'll want to do one thing to make the world a better place.